Today is Saturday, May 4th, 2019. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor, Edge of Extinction, Week 11.
All right. Yeah, we do 2 shows a week. Joanne and I do a recap after we watch the episode on Wednesday. Come Saturday, it's your turn. We turn it over to the Survivor fans and say, hey, what did you think about that? What does that mean for the future of this season? Where are we going next? What stood out? What'd you really like? What'd you see? Maybe we missed something. We're going to hand it over to you and give you your shot. How many folks did we have?
25.
Okay, 25 fans sent in, called in, recorded on their own, in some cases, audio for this episode. And I know it's just because they were excited after that last episode. That was a good one.
It was a good one.
The pacing, it was exactly what it needed to be when we got it. So let's check in with everyone and see how things are going. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston. Oh, my goodness. I'm loving this season more and more, 1,000 times more than Ghost Island. So let me let out a great big woo! Now sing with me. Na, 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 na. Hey, goodbye. Oh, Ron Clark, you overplayed. Don't mess with the mastermind, Rick Devens. Dun, 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 dun. Wow. What an awesome episode. Ron Clark really sank down hard. I mean, he went from winning that reward challenge with his partner to making a major goof up, I think, by pissing off not just Devens, as it turned out, with that advantage there, but also he pissed off some of those girls, Lauren and Victoria. He couldn't read between the lines. He thought he had Gavin, and that didn't work out either. I think he got a little overconfident, and it bit him. Oh, well. But I enjoyed Ron. He played hard, and in the end, that's what got him blindsided. But hats off to Rick Devens, guys. I gotta say right now, he is my odds-on pick to win now. They know it, too. He's dodging bullet after bullet after bullet. He found the idol when he needed to, and I think he ended up realizing that Ron and Julie, for that matter, but more Ron, was lying to him. He had to play the idol. And even Aurora, how about her giving her advantage to Gavin to get rid of Ron? That was awesome. And Victoria and Lauren making a move as well. Great episode. Victoria's starting to build up her resume, but is it too late? Right now it's Rick's game, and I think honestly, guys, besides Rick, I could see Victoria possibly winning it because that was a big move on her part. Lauren's still a wild card with the idol. Julie, forget Julie. She got nowhere to hide now. She's not going to win. She's just going to be a coattail, however she finishes. And Gavin, really loved Gavin's story. I mean, that was awesome, hearing his story with now his wife getting married 2 days before. Is that what they said, before coming out? That was just an amazing story and just awesome to watch. I love the loved ones, seeing Lauren and her dad, and Victoria and her dad, cherishing and living the survivor dream. It's awesome. I loved it. Well, this was a great episode, guys. I'm not going to be on next week. I'm going to Turks and Caicos, but I'll be ready for the finale after that, and I'll find a way to watch next week's episode if I could on demand or DVR. And all right, guys, take care. And I don't know if there'll be any extra clips, but I'm loving this season. Woo!
All right, thanks, Pete.
Have a great vacation.
Mm-hmm. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. I've never been there though. Seen references to it, and some of the people I worked with in the UK vacationed there, I think. Good deal. Yeah, not a lot in the way of extra videos. There's like one secret scene, so if you wanted to see Reem go at War Dog and War Dog go at Reem, I guess you got that. But yeah, I don't know. They not funding those videos for the second half of the season, I guess.
Well, contrast that video with the one showing Reem being nice and comforting to Ron, and Aubrey hugging up on him and comforting him, and Reem saying, "Oh, it's a game. You're a nice guy. Everybody likes you, Ron." And, "Oh, everybody lies. It's a game." So I was like, okay. It's the people that was on her original tribe that helped vote her out. I think that she's just really bitter toward.
Yeah, definitely. Good deal. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got an email from Mike in Omaha. Oh, the rotten sting of making poor decisions in JSFL. I ask you, how many times do I have to repeat the same error before I learn? I had Ron leaving. I was convinced of it. Then, on Wednesday, just about 1 p.m., I decided, no, let me hedge my bets. Ron was looking safe, and I switched it to Aurora as my vote out. What's worse, due to my fear of worrying about it, I put Ron as safe. Fear-based JSFL picks never work out for me. I need to stick with my daggum instincts.
Ain't that the truth?
I'm probably not in a position to win at all, but I had been one off the lead. Now I'm 3 back, so, it's painful. Let me move on to discussing the episode. Not at all sad to see Ron go. About 5 minutes in the episode, I had the feeling Ron was going, and it happened. Based on how things are shaping up, Gavin Autowatch is back. He's playing a solidly good game and is clearly a threat in a season where threats have been getting chopped nearly every week. Lauren and Victoria teaming up was exciting to see. Good on both of them for realizing they might be better off together. Both are smart girls, but based on their edit, I can't see either winning. Aurora is an interesting figure, but she's got an even worse chance of winning than Lauren or Victoria. Julie remains an interesting character, and I do feel she's got a snowball's chance. Again, it is a long shot, but she seems well liked overall, and everyone shares information with her just about, so it would seem her social game is on point. I get that she can be a bit uneven and emotional, but while Joanne and Stacy, you guys are awesome, y'all seem a little tough on older women. Okay.
She's a young woman compared to me.
Yeah, so, not sure.
No, okay.
I wouldn't, that's how you see it, so good deal. We'll listen in to hear what other people register about Julie this week too. Then weigh it all together. Might just be the older ladies we've had of late, but just calling them like I see them, or hear them, as it were. Finally, with Rick, I like Rick as a person, but this week it was made abundantly clear to me how bad of a game he's actually playing. Mugging for the jury, trying to separate himself from the others is not as smart as trying to make new alliances. Separatist game logic works in very few cases. Yeah, very true. Apart from Ben Drybergen and Mike Holloway, it never works out. Rick persists in playing this kind of game. I believe he's buying into his own hype, and I think it's going to catch up to him. I'm thoroughly off the Rick train. He is entertaining, but I don't want to see him win this game. Hopefully the rumors of next season not having a return to Edge of Extinction are true. That'll be lovely. SFP fans, Stacy and Joanne, keep up all the great work. Such a good podcast. All right. Thank you, Mike. Next up, we've got a call from Shea.
Hey guys, this is Shea. I would like to take back everything I said last week about the show being in a lull, because tonight rocked. Woo-hoo-hoo! I cannot wait for you to watch it. You'll want to watch Tribal Council probably, 10 times. I'm gonna. Loved ones. That was so emotional. It was so good. Ron just thinks he's everything, and he is so not. And Rick Devens is not only super smart, but super funny. And I think one of my favorite parts of the episode is during the reward challenge for family visit, when he just realized he was going to lose and decided, screw it. And he was just going to stop and shoot with his wife. Excellent episode. I don't know what poor Julie's going to do now. She's been riding the coats of somebody who's leaving. So, I don't know. All I know is I absolutely cannot wait to hear what everybody has to say about this episode. I know Pete's going to do a big woo-hoo-hoo, and I can't wait to hear it. I'm even going to sing along at my desk in my cubicle. Na 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 na, hey hey, bye on. Sing it, Pete. Sing it with me. Okay, bye. Hey, this is Shea again. I didn't use my full 3 minutes, so I called back to ask a question. When Ron left and chose to go to Edge of Extinction, it made me realize either I missed it or they didn't show reaming War Dog out, and I was really looking forward to that. They even led us to believe we would see that, right? Didn't they? Anyway, that was excellent without it, but man, that would have been cool too. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, your prayers were answered. They did include that as the single extra secret scene video from last week. So you can definitely check that out. And we keep a link in our show notes to a place to find extra videos if you're not a subscriber to CBS All Access. Thanks, Shea. Next up, we got an email from Boston Mark.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy and everyone. I may not be going down as an idiot in Survivor history, but I reached the Idiot Hall of Fame in JSFL history. Yep, it turns out my USB 0 is Lauren. I checked the standings and it would seem I must not have fully submitted her at the beginning of the year, and now she is a USB zilch.
Bummer.
Well, I did go back and check for you, and you're right. You didn't have...
And he didn't catch it at the merge
along
either.
with 16 other people that also didn't get their USB in but made their picks, just not their USB. Mm-hmm. Okay, I picked Ron this week because the preview made it seem it might be Ron, and I thought first, that must mean it isn't Ron. And then I thought, they knew that is what I would think, so it is Ron. See what I did there? Not an idiot at all. Just for my USB
Not an idiot
nada.
All the time.
Oh, not an idiot all the time. Just for my USB nada, Lauren.
There we go.
No one would just give a hidden immunity idol or a list of options to a person they just messed with twice. It was completely unbelievable to think so. The only way to effectively do that would be to let him find it on his own some way, like the person that subtly dropped the coconut clue in another season. Mm-hmm. My USB Zippo, Lauren, is the new queen of eye rolls. Aubrey is seen hugging up to Ron on Extinction Island, and Ron tweeted how grateful he was that she was nice to him. I like that. Way to go, Aubrey. He deserved what he got, though. And she's working that jury. Ironically, Stacy, Eric has more USB power than my USB ARG, Lauren. Oh, and I like the new outro you switched to on the podcast.
Oh,
thank you. Go, Lauren. You have proven Stacy wrong all season long. Give him a big eye roll.
All right. Thanks, Boston Mark. Good deal. Next up, we got a call from Bethany.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Bethany from Tennessee. I am a first-time caller, and you're going to think this is crazy, but I'm actually a first-time Survivor watcher. This is my very first season watching Survivor, and I'm absolutely hooked. I'm actually going back and watching all the old seasons as well, and I think it's just amazing how much the game has changed since the early seasons. I really appreciate the level of gameplay that's going on now compared to then. I think I picked an awesome season to start watching. This is my first time giving feedback, so I hope it sounds okay. All right, so to start out with my notes here, during the loved ones visit, Julie's crying face. Bless her heart. I think I've just been overall annoyed at Julie this season anyway, so maybe that's why her crying face bothered me so much, but whatever. I really teared up when Gavin and his wife got to see each other. I think it was really sweet and also a really good gameplay from Gavin, just to pull on the heartstrings of the other survivors a little bit. Throughout the loved ones visit, I kept feeling like maybe Ron is going to get voted off. I just felt like the editing was kind of setting him up to leave, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. He was just way too overconfident, and that is something that I've learned will get you the boot in Survivor, unless you're Rick Devens, because he's pretty confident. So let's get into that. First, I want to say I love Rick Devens, and I am pulling for him to win. He makes the show interesting. He's got sarcasm. He's got jokes. And with that being said, his gameplay is incredible. I would definitely not want to sit next to him at Final Tribal, because I truly believe that with his resume on the show, if he goes to Final Tribal, he will win, and rightly so. Tribal Council on this episode was simply awesome. I loved Vic, Lauren, and Gavin plotting together to oust Ron, but the best part of this tribal was the theatrics from Rick. Once he found out that Ron and Julie had deceived him, he milked it as much as he could to make them feel like absolute crap about it. He was all, did you want to make me feel stupid in front of my kid? And I loved that. And then he's like, but wait, you all look stupid now because I have an idol. I loved this moment because the jury and some of the current players like Lauren were so excited. I really think the jury is pulling for Devens as well. In the end, Ron got kicked to Extinction Island, and I was happy to see him go. I think his biggest accomplishment on this season was being the only person that didn't get a tongue lashing from Reem once he got to Extinction. I loved this episode a lot. As for next week, I'll continue to hold out hope that Rick will somehow finagle his way through. Thanks, Joanne and Stacey. Love the podcast.
All right, Bethany, great job on your first feedback. We love getting to hear from you.
Yes, it was.
And you've got such a delight ahead of you in going back and watching those other 37 seasons. Man, that's going to be, you're going to have a great summer. That's excellent. Next up, we got an email from Nicola in Lexington, Kentucky. Hi, Joanne, Stacey, and my fellow Survivor fans. Time is getting away from me quickly, and Jackson has not seen the episode yet and probably won't until Sunday, so I figured I'd send in a few thoughts. In my best Pete impression, woohoo, I finally got a vote-off point. I went with what I wanted to happen with not a thought to strategy. I am totally over the loved ones visit. One way to save money, let's just go back to letters or videos. It's just so over the top. I realize they are hungry, tired, and paranoid, but good grief, it's only been a month. As a military spouse in a new country with a newborn who dealt with my husband being deployed for 6 months when he had literally been in our new community for 7 weeks, I have very little tolerance. Heck, I even had to drive on the wrong side of the road. So please, enough already. Yes, it's very on a different scale. I did enjoy Devens drenching his wife. I totally think there was no way he wanted to win this reward, so he just had fun with it. Ron proceeded to show his true colors when he thought he was safe and running the show. Stacey, I too thought a woman would win the immunity challenge. Kudos to Gavin for hanging in there. Devens had a good show at Tribal for the benefit of the jury. I know he's the favorite for the win at the moment, and I would be on board with it, but when was the last time he was on the right side of a vote? It has been a little while. He can't really take any credit for the Ron vote out, as he had no clue. Although the jury might not realize that until someone else gets to EOE and spills the beans, so I'm torn on who I want to win. The purist in me says no one who has been voted out should win, but I would really like to see Rick win of all the players left in the game at the moment. Well, I'll wrap up. I'm off to England next week and will miss the last 2 episodes. I'll listen to the podcast though, and if I manage to catch the show, I'll try to email. Thanks again for all you do. To all my Survivor fans, family who take the time to send their thoughts in. If I don't get feedback in again, have a great summer, everyone, and see you in September. P.S. I have Hang On Slappy Hang On playing on a loop in my noggin.
That is easy to do.
All right. Thanks, Nicola. We appreciate you making time to get that email in. Next up, we got a call from Sophie.
Hey, good morning, Survivor fans. Good morning, Joanne and Stacey. This is Sophie. I am very late watching Survivor and I haven't heard the recap. I want to see how many people voted for Ron. I was one of them. I can't believe it. I was hoping for Aurora because, she just gets under my skin. But yes, Ron and his conniving little ways. He's so sneaky. He had a good run, but I don't want him to come back. The family visit. It doesn't make me emotional. It just makes me super deep down sad. So sad every time I see it. And I see dads hugging their daughters and dads so proud of their daughters and the daughters loving their dads. And it's just something that I've always wanted, like a really strong bond. But my parents are just so distant and they're not very maternal. We all grew up. We had to be seen and not heard. So that just sort of always gets to me, just how I wish I had that. Finally, Gavin told a little bit of his story. We can maybe try to get close to him. I've got him as my winner, but yes, still Rick is pushing himself, he's climbing trees, and I'm just so proud of him. So I was just so happy, and I didn't think his speech at Tribal was too over the top. I think he was just hurt that Julie and Ron are stringing him along and lying to him constantly, and it was good. I really thought that he did it okay. He didn't sort of rub it in too much. He wasn't mean about it. But yeah, another blindside. This season should be called Season of Blindsides because every weekend it's just different, isn't it? Next week, I don't know. I haven't seen any recaps. Who will they go for? It's just somebody we're not expecting. I guess Aurora's the easy vote because she's just annoying and mean. I mean, she could have been a bit more apologetic, not so hard-faced and tough. And I don't know, her attitude about looking into Rick's bag, I didn't like. But next week, who will it be? Well, hopefully it won't be a blindside on Gavin or Victoria or Lauren. I want them. Oh, and definitely Rick. Yeah, please don't blindside Rick. They're going to be trying, but hopefully there'll be another idol or something. Maybe he'll win immunity. But I just thought I had to get this in. We're rushing out to brunch now. Everybody woke up at 10. I don't know what happened. We never wake up this late. So may the force be with you, everybody, and have a great weekend. Thank you so much for Stacey and Joanne. This podcast is really great. I love listening to everybody. And yes, last week I was agreeing with everybody. Shea's comments usually hit the point, hit the mark, and then I doubt whether to call as well because I just rumble and mumble. But I love the kids too. I love everybody's comments. So just keep it going, guys. And if you're a listener, then just get out of your comfort zone and please send a comment because, it's nerve-wracking for me. So we want to hear your voice too. Okay, take care. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Sophie. I appreciate you sharing that too. That helps me view the loved ones' visit from the perception of the children to their parents and through a different lens, and I appreciate that and enjoyed hearing your reaction to everything in that episode. Good deal. Next up, we got an email from Kaleb from Texas.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey and all the Survivor fans out there. Here are my thoughts on this week's episode. First of all, finally, Ron is finally out, and I can just breathe a sigh of relief that he won't win. Okay, next on the chopping block, I actually don't know because it is anyone's game. My order of hopeful winners are first Rick, then Lauren, Gavin, Victoria, Julie, and Aurora. Do you guys think that the returnee from the Edge could be next episode? It gives us a little sneak peek of something that they got. Who knows, because the edit has been in a fog of ambiguity this season, so I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Who all forgot that Lauren still has an idol? That could be completely game-changing. Rick absolutely has to win immunity next week because he's probably a goner if not. Okay, that's all of my thoughts for this week. I won't forget to send feedback next week like I did last week. Bye. All right. Thanks, Kaleb.
Yep, and sure enough, it does look like they're returning this week based on the press release for this upcoming episode. It says 7 will compete
in the immunity challenge.
And one of the previews shows a reward challenge. So that means that with the 6 that we ended this episode on, they do a reward challenge, which looks like it's going to be a fun one. And then we'll get the Edge of Extinction return challenge. And then, based on the press release, we'll get an immunity challenge all within the course of an hour.
7 people, yeah.
Yeah, with 7. So they'll go from 7 to 6 again.
Well, I'm glad they're doing it so we know who's going into the finale.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that part of it. But and also for those of you who play at JSFL, I'll announce this again at the end. But Steve will be updating to bring the people on Edge of Extinction back for your next selection.
Mm-hmm.
In case you want to have one of those people safe or as your vote out.
Yeah, if you're convinced Joey Amazing's coming back, this is your chance to make him safe. So
yeah, I have no clue.
If you have any safe points left on him. Good deal. All right.
I actually don't know.
Thanks, Kaleb. Next up, we got a call from Mary.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It is Mary from Michigan, and this was the best episode so far. I didn't think I could get more satisfaction from a vote off after the War Dog, but it happened this week with Ron. I was literally cheering. Now, they got to know that if Rick makes it to the end, he's got the votes, so I know they'll still go after him. But I think they need to go after Julie. She is trouble. She is just the type of person that might slide her way to the end and take up a spot. I have two separate thoughts about the Edge. I can't say that there's any one person there who's been highlighted more than the others. Well, except for maybe Reem, but clearly she has the least chance of winning her way back in, so that's purely entertainment. My actual thoughts are this. It would be such a downer for the twist if the winner of the challenge is immediately voted back out. So I think production will provide some kind of immunity when they come back, and they'll make it at least one more week. Now, to who gets back in? Well, if it's someone who has a connection to a player who's still in the game, that could be huge. So I see Joe or Aubrey, who have a connection with Aurora, Kelly with Lauren, and of course David with Devins. Now, Aurora's extra vote, I think it played out perfectly. I do believe she was correct in assuming that if she was a target of the vote, she wouldn't be able to re-vote. And I think production would have explained the rules to her. But I was super nervous when she chose Gavin to give it to. But I guess Gavin was the safest, seeing how he had immunity. But is anyone catching on to the fact that she's now used that same advantage twice, and it's worked perfectly? That's some amazing gameplay. I think that people might be sleeping on Aurora. She's survived every time she's been a target since Joe left. Now, it's such poetic justice that Ron went out the week of the family visit. I don't think the reason he went out is because of who he chose, but it sure didn't help. And don't these players listen to podcasts? Everyone knows you don't want to win the family visit reward. And then we've got that secret advantage trick. It's pathetic. If Ron is a pilot, he crashed and burned. And I'm never getting on his flight. I'm still torn on Gavin and Victoria. I don't know who will come after Victoria, but they got to be afraid of Gavin's immunity wins. He needs it this week. As for Lauren, she's still got that idol. And here's my secret thought. She might use it to save Kelly if Kelly comes back. I've been expecting her to use that for Kelly since she found it, so I'm hanging on to that thought. But I think Lauren's best bet is to go to the end with Julie and Victoria, and then she wins. Unless something really shakes out to prove that Victoria can actually win something, I think the jury will see her the way I do. A weak player who's been able to flip and flop her way to the end without winning anything. And that's a GOAT in my book. Now finally, we saw a story from day one that Gavin wanted to go up against Joe. Why were we told that? It's foreshadowing. Maybe it's foreshadowing for the game, or maybe for the Extinction Challenge if Gavin goes this week. Overall, I'm just excited to see what happens. But they all look super skinny and weak, so challenge is kind of up in the air at this point. Aurora seems probably the strongest of the players left, and on Extinction, they all look wiped out. So I'm not sure who will have the strength to pull it out. I think we have a final three of the next person who returns, and whatever player in the game that's most connected to that person, and the third one, Victoria. I think the returnee probably wins the final making challenge, beating Julie and sending her to the jury in fourth place. I'm really going out on a limb here with this prediction, but when it doesn't happen, I will graciously and honestly admit I was wrong. So I'm left wondering who goes next, and I think that might be one of the most important factors. I can't wait until next week, and I'm going to have to take the night off work to see the finale. Talk to you guys soon, and thanks again for all you do. This was a great recap. Have a great week.
Oh, I love that level of commitment. All right, I need a day off.
I've got to swap with somebody.
Yeah.
Survivor's on. All right. Thanks, Mary. Up next, we have a call from Krystal.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Krystal calling again from Pasadena. This episode was crazy, and so I had to call in and give my thoughts once again. I never felt such a whirlwind of emotions in watching an episode of Survivor. I mean, I laughed, I cried, I celebrated. I was all over the place, and I especially loved the family visit part. It tugged at my heartstrings. I have to admit, I teared up a few times, and it was actually the first time in a few seasons seasons where I can honestly say that I really felt for each and every player, and I felt like everyone was being pretty genuine. It wasn't like last season when I felt like Angelina was putting on a rehearsed speech for her mom in front of everyone. I really actually felt like the players this season really let their guards down for a second and let themselves be in the moment. So I thought that that was really great. Then as soon as Ron said that he felt like he was running the game, I had a gut instinct right away that it was his time to go, mainly because I feel like any player who said that this season, that has been like the kiss of death for them. As soon as they say that, then next thing you know, they're on their way out. Last but not least, seeing Tribal, I was on the edge of my seat. I loved every minute of Rick calling out Ron and Julie. And I feel like there's definitely a difference between being a mean player and being a good player. And I felt like Ron was leaning now more towards the mean side. I really didn't like how he tried to set up Rick. And it really reminded me of back when Christy did that to Ben and tried to make him look like a fool time and time again, and then it ended up backfiring. I felt like the same thing happened to Ron this time. And I really am not a fan of players being mean just for the sake of humiliation. I was happy to see him go. Moving forward, I'm really rooting for Rick more and more every week, and I hope he can hang in there and maybe get some type of advantage moving forward. I'm going all in on Rick, even though the odds are stacked against him at this point. As always, I love your podcast, and thank you so much for all you do. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Krystal. Great to hear your voice on the podcast this week and your analysis.
You know, Rick might have a better chance if, like, David came back and if he was given the same opportunity to have the half idol and give half to Rick. And because if Rick does find the idol this next week, and we certainly know from the previews he's out looking for it.
Yeah,
so,
like he has no choice.
Yeah. So if he did find it and it gets him through this week, he's still got 2 more tribals to get to 4th. So, you know, that would be helpful if it were someone who, because they won't put another idol out. Well, maybe they will. Wait a minute. They're going back to 7.
Yeah.
So maybe if he got an idol and used it, they would put another one back.
Yes, very likely.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think
especially because they like that idol last-minute Hail Mary kind of thing. So, yeah.
So maybe.
Yep.
Is he any good at making fire?
Don't know.
Because if he gets there, he's probably going to have to work really hard.
Yeah, definitely. All right, thanks again, Krystal. Next up, we got an email from Julie in Iowa. Hello, Survivor fans. Well, I just got my second vote-off point for the season. Congrats.
All right.
And it couldn't be any better because it was Ron. Yeah, that should almost be bonus points, huh?
Yeah.
I had made my picks right after the last episode and was tempted to change them several times, but that was not working for me all season, so I refused to let myself change them this week. I now have 40 points in my at-home JSFL game. I'm hoping that I have enough people available for save points to finish out the game. No songs this week because I'm trying to be good, and I can't get the songs out of my head. By the way, Joanne, great job singing. It was awesome. I'm enjoying this season more with each passing week. All right. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, even Sandy in Georgia sent us a little video of her singing it.
Yeah, that was great.
In the car driving down the road.
Yep, made our day. All right, next up, we got a call from Kim and Cameron. They got the band back together.
Hi, Survivor fans. This is Throwback Thursday. Kim and Cameron giving our feedback. Cameron was disappointed that I skipped the last 2 weeks, so he came all the way from college to make sure I would do feedback this episode. Right. I put Ron safe, and I put Ron for a vote out. Yeah, because I really wanted him to go, but I'm having trouble, like Joanne, with managing the safe votes that I have left.
I'm not having a problem with my safe votes, but I just put Ron as completely safe anyway. I'm not too mad that he went still. Props to Rick, but if Rick wants to win the game, he's going to have a Ben Drebergen or a Mike Holloway-like ending, just basing it off of idols and challenges completely.
I like Rick more and more. I think he's getting more of a winner's edit than anybody else, and I have respect for his search for the idol and climbing up that tree with everybody sleeping.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought production was kind of mean putting that idol right above camp. I've seen him put it like beneath camp before, but he had to go out and climb that tree. I thought Aurora looked right at him and caught him, but I guess it was so dark that she didn't even notice.
Good for Victoria this week. I think she should get a ladies' alliance going, and I actually thought that last week. They could include Gavin, but just not tell him it was a ladies' alliance and tell him it was just for the people that are down at the bottom so he doesn't feel threatened.
Yeah, I agree with that. So now I think Julie is kind of completely empty-handed. I feel like her best shot for at least getting to the end is maybe doing something with Aurora and Rick. I don't think she can do anything to win, though. Poor her.
I agree. I feel like Julie will make the final three because why would you waste any effort voting her out?
I agree with that. I didn't actually realize there was no Edge of Extinction this week until right before Tribal. I was watching with my mom last night, and she pointed it out. I was like, I'm not even mad.
Me neither. The only way the Extinction person could win, I think, is if they're in the final three with Julie and Lauren at the end. What do you think, Cameron? Who would make a satisfying winner for you?
So, of course, Rick. I mean, I'm really pulling for him right now. I feel like there's something Lauren can do, and there's something Victoria can do to maybe turn it around and win the game. There is about no one on the Edge of Extinction I want to see come back and win. If it is Aubrey or Reem, I will puke. And speaking of Reem, exactly. I don't understand Reem at all. Ron gets there, and you think maybe she'd be like, oh, you're disgusting. Nope, she's just like, hey, Ron, I've heard nothing but great things about you. I'm sad to see you here. We all loved you. Which tells me Ron was being good at being deceitful, but also, I'm just tired of Reem. I'm really just tired of Reem. And that's about all for this week. I'm glad I could do it again with Kim. And I hope you hear some great feedback. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
All right. Good job, guys. Great to have you back together on feedback. Next up, we got a call from Drew's crew.
Hey, everyone. This is Drew, and with me I have...
Charlie, and I can put this all together and...
Charlie just learned how to put his Jack Sparrow Lego guy together. Well, take him apart and then put him back together. So this is a big day for him. And?
Adelaide and my train and my flag.
His train and her flag. And Milo here too. I just went for a long run.
The train's name is Percy.
Train's name is Percy. All right, let's get to it because it's Saturday and we got stuff to do, including some cartoons to watch. What an episode. I know that this is going to be the talk of the feedback show, just basically Rick's master move. And of course, you know, he's going to get the winner of the week because that was just amazing. That was just so perfectly played at Tribal Council. So really, really enjoyed that. Even on the next day when I thought of it, it just made me smile. So yeah, the family visit didn't really hit me this time. I don't know. Just wasn't really feeling it. I feel like I know it's high emotions and situations like that. And I know that I would be reduced to a complete puddle if I were out there and Julie showed up. Or if Julie were out there and I showed up. And either way, I think that I'd just lose it. But I don't know. Just wasn't really feeling it this time. But yeah, it was fine. It was a fun challenge. I like it when the family members actually get involved with the challenge. It seems to add a level of interaction that's pretty fun. But I loved Rick and his wife, and she's just used that opportunity. Well, first of all, he was splashing her, I'm pretty sure on purpose, because he knew that they weren't going to win. But she was just like, it's fine, everyone's fine. It's like, they're just not hyper emotional, or maybe, you know, some people get that way and it seemed like they were just kind of cool with it. And maybe that would be distracting if you're like hyper emotional about it, but I don't know. Just rambling now.
The head can only break of this crocodile.
Oh, yeah.
The Lego crocodile.
The Lego crocodile doesn't come apart quite as much as the guy, huh? All right, let's just wrap it up. Winner of the week, of course, Rick. Devins, that was really just so perfectly executed. I'm so glad that he didn't rely only on the ruse from Ron. We were thinking about it, like, what did Ron think that he had to gain? I mean, he gave it to him to gain his trust, but he must have known if he tried to play it, he would know that he lied to, like, what was the benefit to him? It was like he didn't think that through. And so that is why he's the loser of the week. He got what he deserved, and it's fine with me. He's not coming back into the game. So, all right. Can you guys say bye? Ooh, even Milo. Everyone have a great weekend. Bye.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Barbara in Long Island, New York.
Here in New York, there was no audio for the first 15 or 20 minutes of the show.
Goodness.
And then it went out again at Tribal Council.
That's just mean.
CBS apologized the next day and provided the show on Twitter and Facebook. So I got 3 points in JSFL again, as did many of you, it turns out. But I was glad to see Ron go. The gods don't like hubris.
True.
I've decided to assign each survivor a number from 1 to 6 and then roll a die. First number rolled out goes out, or rolled goes out. Next 4 are safe. Why not? Better than any choices I've made through logic this season. Take care, my friends and fellow fanatics.
All right. Like your system there, Barbara. You'll have to choose from 7 this week, though, with that one coming back.
That's right.
And it is a puzzle challenge at the end.
Actually, she'll have to choose from more than 7 because we don't know who's coming back.
Well, that's true.
So, be a little harder this week.
Have to get a 10-sided die. Have to get out your D&D dice, and so you can pick who's coming back from Extinction Island, and then you can worry about who's going to be safe and who gets voted out. Good deal. Thanks, Barbara. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, John and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh, and I know I have never been this late in sending in my comments. So if they don't make it, I understand. I just wanted to say I thought the last episode was very satisfying. I don't know why Ron became so mean-spirited. I mean, in real life, he's a teacher, right? And doesn't he feel that he's being an example for his students? I know when his husband came for the family visit, he said, you got to do what you got to do. But honestly, there were other ways to do it. And I just really felt that in the end, he was becoming more kind of vindictive. Even Reem said, oh, everybody lies. But I think Ron took it to another level. Why would you want to humiliate Rick if you were eliminating him at the tribal council? So I just felt that I was so glad when Ron went home instead. Now, as far as Gavin and Lauren, they voted for Ron, and Gavin played that extra advantage. So, Aurora, I don't know, did you waste it? Couldn't you use it sometime for yourself? But when Lauren and Victoria were talking, once again, it looked like Victoria was on board, and then she voted for Rick as well. So I don't know. If these remaining players were the only ones that were up for winning Sole Survivor, I would say that except for Rick, nobody else really has a compelling story. Aurora's been on the outs for such a long time, and same with Julie and now Victoria, who at one time seemed like she would be running the show. So that leaves Gavin and Lauren, and Lauren's been under the radar, but she does have her idol. And Gavin, he's won a couple of immunities, but again, the only one I could see that could be worth winning this would be Rick, and yet at the same time, anytime he's had his votes, he's been on the wrong side of the vote. So I'm just not rooting for anybody right now. As I said last time, maybe if one of the other players came back, but I'm not sure about that as well. And my question is, do the players realize that another player from Exile Island will be coming back into the game? I wasn't sure that they knew about that. I can't remember if Jeff said anything about that, but now if Joey's coming back in, or Aubrey's coming back in, or David or Kelly, then I'm all on board for them.
All right. Thanks, David. I do believe they know that someone's coming back, but I can't say that with 100% confidence. The other thing that popped in my head when I was listening to David was, Aurora's advantage expired at 7, but they're about to reset 7. So she felt a pressure to do something with it. Gavin did end up playing after she gave it to him, and it was the one needed to send Ron out and avoid a tie, I guess. But no, they didn't actually need it because it was 3-1 for Aurora, so they didn't technically need it. Anyway, it would have, had it not been used, I guess it would have been revived essentially because they're about to go back to 7 again.
Yep.
There's no way that she could have known that.
Yeah, and they just didn't know how this was all going to work. So, because if
don't know when they're coming back,
if they didn't come back till 5, then that would not have been the case. So there's no way to know. You just gotta do your best
Interesting
to follow
think
the
about,
rule.
though. Yeah, it could have been something that she unwittingly ended up being able to use.
I believe Jeff explained it in one of the, like when the first 4 or 5, how many ever came back, when they said the jury, he said at that time that they would get an opportunity to win their way back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure everybody
They're
knows.
expecting someone to come back. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And you weren't even close to being late with your feedback, David. You're East Coast, so it'd have to be 3 o'clock your time for you to be right at the cutoff mark. So thank you. So I appreciate you worrying about that, but you're doing fine. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Park from Indiana, and, well, you see, I didn't leave feedback last week because I got a job at a movie theater, and a certain movie came out on Thursday night. You may not have heard of it. It's called Avengers Endgame. It might have been the biggest opening weekend in movie history. It was insane, and I had an opportunity to see it Wednesday night. There's no way I'm going to pass that up because I'm not going to see this until a month later from how much I'll have to work because of this. I went and Avengers Endgame screwed my feedback. But hey, it's a really good movie. So let's talk some Survivor. Well, last week War Dog finally got voted off, so I'm happy about that. And this week Ron Clark finally got voted off, and I'm very happy about that. Woo! Finally. Let's go, Rick. Oh yeah. Devins. It's just him crawling up that tree, getting that was hilarious. Of course, we got the Loved Ones visit. Who doesn't love the Loved Ones visit? And this week was just like a Heroes vs. Villains throwback. We had that challenge for the Loved Ones, and then the immunity challenge was also in Heroes vs. Villains. And it seemed like it was a lot harder this time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in Heroes vs. Villains, nobody couldn't walk after it, and not even in Tocantins when it was later in the game. I don't know. It looked like there was like extra pegs, so maybe that had something to do with it. But a pretty good episode, pretty solid, fun episode. Rick found an idol, Rick played idol, and finally, somebody plays an idol this season. Played it successfully, and Ron's out of here, so I'm happy about that. The week I have him saved, they're like, alright, let's vote Ron out. Come on, guys, you gotta work with my picks here. Sheesh. It's filmed live, and I'm in contact with them, telling them who I'm picking to vote off. You know how it goes. Man, I was so worried that Rick was getting voted off. And he dropped out of the immunity challenge instantly. What do you guys think? I feel like some of what he said, I thought, it was funny, right? At Tribal, I thought what he said was funny. I feel like some people will think it's maybe mean and stuff. It's like when Ben was celebrating, doing his Ben bombs and stuff. It's entertaining. Be entertained by it. Don't be like, oh, he's showing off. Be in the moment. Have fun with it. And that's what they're doing. People like Tony and Ben and Rick, they have fun with it. And that's why I like watching them, and I want them to do well in the game because they have fun with the game. Next time on Survivor, is somebody coming back in the game now? I don't know. I feel like now would be a good time for someone to come back in the game. And it would be nice for it not to happen at the finale so that we could have more time to do finale stuff. Also, there was no Edge of Extinction this episode, and I didn't miss it. Sorry, Reem. Well, at the very end, we got Reem's spiel, and they were all comforting Ron. Aww. What? Ron Clark gets voted off, and they're like, oh, it's okay, Ron. Man, that makes me mad. I'm mad now. Gosh. Okay, that's all I got. I will see you guys next time. Hopefully. I don't know, maybe. Nope, I don't think there's any big movies coming out next week, so I will see you guys next time. Oh, yeah!
It's a good Kool-Aid Man impression there. Thanks, Parker. Great to hear you got a job and that you're enjoying it. And, man, what a weekend to start a job. What a movie to start with there in the theater. Good deal. Next up, we got email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, it was a good episode. However, I feel like we're in a holding pattern until we get the Extinction Play-In Challenge and find out if there's also a jury play-out twist. Hopefully next week we'll shed some light on both. Should. My other observations. Ron's lucky he's a teacher and not a waiter. Giving expired menus to people could really impact his tips. Julie says she'll be a different person when she gets back home. What does that mean? She'll give up her Etsy store and get a real job? Note to potential suitors, Victoria really digs the smell of bug spray on a guy. Gavin's reaction when Jeff announced Carly reminded me of a kid who was told, wait till your father gets home and here's the key being turned in the front door. I'm with Becca. Devins was totally having fun by drenching her. Lloyd's favorite coffee is Maxwell House. Like him, it's good to the last drop. After a month on the island, Carly doesn't think Gavin smells bad. Definitely the honeymoon period. Aurora should join the TSA. They go through bags too. Oh, yeah, she does that. She's got that look. Devin's idol search theory. If you're doing the time, you might as well do the crime. Devin's idol climb had me confused. Is he on Survivor or American Ninja Warrior? I agree with Lauren. Devin's final 3 offer sounds like Culpepper math. Ron's taxi service needs to expand its clientele if he wants to turn a profit. At camp, Devins faced the stand-up comedian's ultimate nightmare, an awkwardly silent crowd. I don't get Aurora's extra vote plan. Why not use it to avoid a tie in the first place? I figured out Devins' strategy. He's actually auditioning to get a job on a morning show in a bigger market. That very well could be. That could work, too. Julia, I was making sure I read that right, got more screen time for her funky jury dance than she did on the island. I'm bum-puzzled that villain Ron got Ream's warmest welcome. Next time cards are on the table and Joker Rick runs wild, will Rick draw a winning hand or will he get royally flushed? Anyway, that's it from me for now. Thanks, Joanna Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Excellent. Good job, sir. Next up, we got a call from Slappy McGee.
Hello, Joanna and Stacy. It's Slappy McGee calling you to say hello, talk to you about this Survivor nonsense. Oh my goodness, it's getting crazy. Fun stuff though for Slappy. That's right, Rick is the man, holding on like a Rick man can. First of all, thanks to Julia out there in Iowa. Thank you for the Hang On Slappy and Joanne for singing it. That was kind of off. I am hanging on, barely hanging on, but I'm waiting for my man Rick. He's going to give me 24 points. Going to jump me up to the top, or at least out of the bottom. Hey, speaking of Rick, I mean, isn't he relatable? I mean, he's like the most relatable guy there, and I guess that's why he has a big target, because everybody knows that everyone likes him, and he's just down to earth. I mean, with the family visit and the way he was kind of flashing his wife with the water and having fun with it, and I don't know, he just seemed really down to. And then he's like at camp, you know, joking like, "Hey, let's everyone come in and let's make an alliance and stuff." Or it was just, and then you know, people, I don't know, they're so uptight, and like at the challenge, when he's saying, I'll offer everybody final 3. He was joking, obviously, but Lauren just rolled her eyes and then answered Jeff's questions about not doing that. I mean, she just didn't get the joke. Totally vapid and just like, right. I guess she was concentrating on her feet hurting. That may have been part of it too, but she just totally did not get his joke at all. I feel like Lauren, but Rick is the man. And then it's tribal, the way he pulled that kind of, I mean, he knew he had a chance of being kind of, messed over there by Ron and Julie. He did a good job of kind of turning it back on them, mentioning, you know, why did you make a fool of me? And then he made it into a jovial thing. I think it just kind of shows some good sportsmanship there, because you kind of gave it back to him a little bit. At the same time, saving himself. I don't know. I like that. It's relatable, and again, it makes me worried a little bit because he's my USB. And then you guys said something about ranking him at the very end. I don't know what that means. I guess I'll find out when I find out, or you can explain it right now if you'd like to, because I don't know exactly what you're talking about there. But I have a feeling that there's other points involved that I don't know about. And I'm worried now because I thought all I need to do is hold on with Rick. Hang on, Ricky, hang on. That's what I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I was just, you know what? I only got 3 points this week because I had Ron safe and I had Aurora going. This is what I thought they were going to do. And so if they just switched that, I'd have got my point. But they didn't, and I didn't. So there you go. Oh, well. Well, thank you guys for the great show. That's about all the insight that I have. And I'll think about my victory. Are you sweating, Stacy? Are you sweating at all over there? Because it's going to be Joanne, Slappy, McGee, and no Stacy. That's right. Going down the highway. I tell you where I'm calling from. I'm calling from Mars Hill, Maine this week. Way up there in the top part of Maine. We're spitting distance from Canada, New Brunswick. So kind of cold still up here. But hitting the road. Come on, Joanne. It's been a road trip. You guys take care. Thanks for a wonderful podcast. I look forward to hearing all the fans say. They are awesome to hear. All right, gotta go. Going to the circus. What? That's right. Going to a Shriners circus. I just hope there's no banjo recital. All right, Slappy out.
Oh, man, I used to love watching the Shriners tear around in those go-karts.
Yeah. In our little small town in Georgia, they always came once a year.
Yeah, same with
it was
us.
in a parade, and
yep,
we always loved it too.
Zipping around, little daredevil Shriners. Oh, and their fez caps. Oh, nice.
I have not been to the New England states. I've been most of the other states, I think, at least through them, but not up in the New England. So that would be a nice.
To answer Slappy's question, yeah, you actually have to pick an order at the very end, and it's worth more points than your USB is. So something to consider. You're going to have to get that final. If you get the final 4 order correct, that's like another 50 points.
Yep, and that's a good thing. Then
there's a point for an inferred 6th place, and then there's
2 points for
2
6th.
points. Is it 2 for 6 or 5th?
If you get it right, it's 2 points. If you don't get it right, it's nothing.
There, okay.
That's 6th because we can't. That one's special. It gets its own little thing. And then the 4th through 5th is normal.
4th through 5th? 4th through 1st?
1st through 5th is normal.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully that just cleared everything up. If not,
yeah, there you go.
You can read the rules on the JSFL website, and it'll explain it.
Senior moment.
Yep, there we go. Thanks, Slappy. Good to hear from you, bud. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, it's Justin from Michigan. I want to give a couple quick thoughts on the family visit. So really the only way I see that you can kind of turn the family visit into your advantage for the game is if you do kind of what Wendell did and give it away. So you give away all 3 spots. Then those 3 people hopefully won't backstab you because you just gave them a family visit, and then you get to go back to camp with the others and talk with them, strategy with them. I think that's your best route. The other alternative is to try to make these deals with people. Okay, if I win the family visit, I'll for sure take you. If you win, you take me. But then don't try to win the challenge. Make it look like you're trying, but kind of do what Rick was doing, which I think he might have been doing that on purpose because he seems pretty good at those type of challenges. He might have thrown that challenge from a strategic standpoint. Who knows? That's probably what I would do. I'd go one of those 2 routes, lose the challenge, and hope that the other person you made a deal with wins and takes you. That way you still get to go on the visit, but nobody's really mad at you. They're mad at the person who chose you. So I think that's your best strategy in that for the family visits. What Rick did is he still got to have conversation with his wife during the challenge. I think that's really smart. You still get to interact. You get the hugs, but you're not, even though he was already an easy target, you're not putting even more of a target on your back by winning and taking only 2 people and there's 7 left. So that's my thoughts on the family visit. Going forward, Rick, he's in a really tight place, but he might be able to pull in Julie because she really has nowhere to go at this point. If he can convince her, Julie, these people are only using you, even though he'd also be using her. But I think that's probably his best route. It doesn't seem like Aurora wants to work with him, and Aurora's working with Victoria and Gavin, it looks like, from the preview. So I think Julie and Warren are his best shot, other than just winning out. Hopefully he gets some type of advantage or idol. That's his best shot. But he at least has a path. If he gets there, he gets to the final 3, he is winning the game. Okay, I'm sold at this point. The other 5 that are in the game, we don't know. Whoever comes back from Edge of Extinction probably have an edge over them because I don't think any of them have built a good enough. I don't think they've made enough moves. Yeah, Gavin's won 2 immunities. Aurora's won 2 immunities. But they're just not playing dominant social games. So it's still just really going to hinge on that finale and see who comes back from Edge of Extinction. But still rooting for Rick and curious to see what everybody else has to say. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, I do think that's normally a good policy for that challenge, except for Rick, because nobody's taking Rick. No matter who it is, nobody's going to agree to take him, or they're just kind of done with Rick. He knows he's on the outside of everything, and that's just the way it is right now. So poor Rick.
Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
During last week's listener feedback, I got a kick out of Julie's parody song, and it's kind of stuck in my head now. Hang in there, Slappy. As for this week's episode, we knew that the reward menu would be making its return, and Rick seemed to have fallen for it. The family visits are always a nice thing to see, and most of the time I don't cry from it. But this time Gavin's story, even though we knew about it beforehand, got to me. It was nice to see the return of the loved ones participate in the challenge with the cast. It is always a gamble to pick those who you take with you on any type of reward, and I would have probably picked Gavin so he could have time with his loved one, and I'm not sure who else I would have picked. Rick is becoming more of a castaway to watch. Not only did he catch Aurora going through his bag and finding the menu, but he also successfully retrieved a hidden idol at night right in the middle of camp. I believe not everyone would like what has happened at Tribal when it comes to Rick's menu and idol play, but he pulled it off well. I enjoyed watching that all play out, and at this point in time, I think this game is his to lose. He already got voted out, but got back in and is playing hard. He might even be finding yet another idol based on next week's preview. Also, what do you think is happening on the Edge? I think it is either someone's opportunity to return or another game advantage for someone, either for the return challenge itself or for someone still in play. All right, yeah, like we said, Jack, we think somebody's coming back in.
I guess what's interesting is that War Dog didn't get featured, and it's very unlikely that Ron will get featured. Other people got featured stories as they went through the process out on Edge of Extinction, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to get anything from either one of them, given how things have played out. So that might be very telling.
I don't know. Mike Casey had something about War Dog's been throwing all the challenges all this time. Now we're going to see him play.
Yeah, sure. Because it's so much easier that way. Yeah.
Anyway, the Press Express not only said that there would be a final seven castaways in the immunity challenge, but that it was going to have a tough puzzle.
Yep. So going from 7 to 6 again.
So who's good at puzzles?
It's going to be a puzzle challenge. So Rick has certainly proved himself, and I don't know if anyone else.
He says he's not good at puzzles, but.
Yeah, they don't believe that anymore. I don't know. It's all relative, right? Relative to who you're competing against. I'm not sure if anyone else has got it. Aurora was kind of close.
Yeah, she did.
Victoria had a good puzzle experience with Julia, but I don't know how much of that was Julia and how much was Victoria.
No, I think it was more Julia.
Yeah, probably was.
So, depends on who comes back and how good they are.
Certainly that's the case.
All right.
Thanks again, Jack. Next up, we got a call from KimJ.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is KimJ from Nashville. Loved Ron's booth this week. I gotta say, that was super, super satisfying. Maybe my favorite boot of the season. Maybe. I don't understand why people try so hard to win the family visit. Like, I kind of feel like Rick maybe was kind of throwing it a little bit. And frankly, like, that's the right thing to do. Like, you never want to win that reward. And I'm not sure that really ticked Victoria and Lauren off that much, especially Lauren, because her and Ron aren't close. It's always interesting, though, because, I mean, Kellen threw a big fit, in Ghost Island when Sebastian didn't take her, and I didn't really think they were that close either. Like, obviously, it's just super emotional, but this loved one's visit was less annoying than most of them are. I love the fact that they went back to the Dang It Reed challenge. That was awesome. They also did that for the loved one's visit in Cook Islands too, because I remember Parvati and her dad winning that challenge too. So I totally love when they include the loved ones. I mean, not when they're drawing rocks out of a bag, but when they're actually participating in the challenge. I think that's a lot of fun. Gosh, next week, I mean, it's got to be Devins, right? I love Devins. Like, I love Devins. I'm glad he found an idol this week and he was hustling, but I don't want there to be another advantage that goes to Devins. Like, from this point on, like, this has got to be all him. Like, no more help from Edge of Extinction, right? But I mean, the thing about it is, at this point, unless Ron gets whatever they're doing at Edge of Extinction and he would probably give it to Julie. Is everybody else going to give something to Rick if they get it? Like, is that who everybody's rooting for at this point? Would Julia give it to Gavin or Victoria, or would she just give it to Rick too, because she's been loving everything he's been doing on the jury? So I don't know. I loved this particular episode a lot because there was no Edge of Extinction. I heard that there was a great extra scene. I haven't watched it yet with Reem just blasting War Dog, so I'm definitely going to have to go and check that out. But yeah, loved it. Rooting for Rick, rooting for my USB Victoria, rooting for Lauren. Really, I kind of like everybody that's left at this point, except maybe Aurora. But she's not going to win anyway. I mean, she can get to the final. I can't really see her getting any votes. So can't wait to hear what everybody else says. Have a good weekend.
All right. Thanks, KimJ.
I don't know. She's fought pretty hard to stay in this game.
Talking about Aurora?
Aurora.
Yep.
She's been target number one for quite a while, right until Rick stepped back into that spot. And she's always the alternative, usually.
If he manages to solve that difficult puzzle there as they go from 7 to 6 again, then she probably would jump right back up to the top of the target list.
Yeah, though you got to think, as many as Gavin has won too, that they might not want to take him. He's got too good a story to take to the end. He got a better story than Aurora.
And then the person
newlyweds.
The person that returned from Edge of Extinction is going to be an option too. So it's going to be a challenging week making picks for sure. Should be an exciting episode. Thanks again, KimJ. Let's check in with Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, Survivor fans. Jeremiah Panos here from Southern California. And might I start off by saying, woohoo! Took a little page from Pete there to brag about the fact that I finally got a vote-off point. Me and a lot of other people just kept on picking Ron to go home until he finally did. And he did. Of course, my score this season has been pretty terrible, I will admit. But, I'm glad I finally got that vote-off point for the season. Probably the only one I'm going to get, though, but we'll see. But, hey, at least I got Rick for my USB, so maybe I'll still get some points from him, because obviously this was quite a good episode for him again. Man, he keeps going through all these extra lies he has here. But, hey, he's been fun to watch. And Ron, come on, man, Survivor 101. You do not want to win that reward out of all the rewards to win. That one's especially terrible. And especially a guy like him who's in a position of power, a position to which he has put himself to be a huge target. I mean, man, if you feel that you could be a potential target, you especially don't want to win that thing. I've already told my wife, when and if I ever get to play, and I make it to the family visit, we are not winning that reward. I already told her. She knows. We're not winning. It's just not going to happen. That's just the way it is. Don't take that risk. But anyway, he paid the price, and he went home. So it was very fun to watch them work all that out. Aurora deciding how she was going to handle her extra vote. That was interesting. I know everyone loves the family visit, but for me, it's gag me. I know it makes me sound like a terrible person, but I'm just not a fan of it. It just, whatever. Maybe it's because I've just seen too much Survivor, and it's like I'm over all that stuff. And I'm sure if I actually was out there playing, I'm sure I'd get very emotional when I see my wife. So, hey, whatever. And also, speaking of me being a terrible person, am I not the only one that was hoping so much for Rick Devens to fall off the tree and through the shelter? That would have been so funny, wouldn't it? Oh, I'm so awful. I am definitely going to hell. Now, as far as next week's concerned, I guess I'm leaning towards Aurora for right now, I guess. Julie is kind of on the outs too, but hey, got to pick somebody, right? And I'm going to call it right now. Since we have seen nothing from the Edge of Extinction, I'm going to say whoever is there at the moment is not going to be winning this game. Now, if someone was to win from coming back from the Edge, I would say it's probably whoever gets voted out next week, and they come right back in and then maybe wins it. But everyone's there right now, goners. They're not winning. I'm calling it right now. All right, well, anyway, that's it for me. You guys take care. Until next time, this is Jeremiah from SoCal.
All right, thanks, Jeremiah.
I can honestly say that never even crossed my mind.
What's that?
That for Rick to fall through the shelter.
You didn't think it just a little bit when his belt got hung and he got stuck?
No.
And then it started making creaking noises?
No.
Okay. Good job, Jeremiah. Next up, we got an email from Christiana in Boston. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. I don't have much to say about this episode except that I had Ron going in JSFL and I changed it the last second to Aurora. I felt like the story wasn't quite developed yet to get rid of Ron, and they had been talking about Aurora for a while. Oh well, no vote-off point for me. But I agree, I'll sacrifice my points to get rid of Ron. It was definitely a blindside, which made for an exciting episode with some great strategy. We finally got to see some insight into the conversations the players are having, which I personally would prefer over being surprised as a viewer at Tribal Council. That's all for this episode. Have a good week, everyone. Thanks, Christiana. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi everyone, this is Jen in California. Just when I think that this season couldn't get any better, this episode was amazing. I absolutely loved it. The first thing I loved about it was the reward challenge. I immediately recognized it from Heroes vs. Villains. I love this challenge. I can remember in my head Colby Donaldson yelling at his brother, "Come on, Reed!" and just losing his mind over not being able to succeed in it. I love this reward challenge for the family visit. They could do this challenge every single family visit, and I would never get sick of it. I love it. Also, though, if I was a player, I would never win the family visit challenge. Never, never, never. I think the downside outweighs the upside every time. You might not get voted off immediately, like Ron just did, but I feel like definitely it is a cursed challenge. Nothing really ever bodes well. I can't remember somebody who won the Loved Ones challenge. Oh, yes, I can. I take that back. Chris from Vanuatu won it and then went on to win the game, but few and far between in 30-plus seasons. Next, I started really getting a Dawn vibe from Julie. Julie reminds me so much of Dawn, who played in Cochran's seasons, both of his seasons. I think she wants to appear the nice mom, the nice good guy, so to speak, but her actions are just making her into a villain. And again, I think Joanna and Stacy, you've touched on this. I think Stacy has said it. Crying a lot during a season, really, it endears you to your fellow castaways, but in the end, it turns into looking like a manipulation. Because when you cry, then, you tend to cry on people's shoulders and they comfort you, and that's a bonding experience, and then you turn around and you vote them out, or you do things like Julie and Ron did, which were really, really underhanded. And then people start resenting the fact that they comforted you when you were crying, and then not only did you stab them in the back, but you really, really stabbed them in the back. And Dawn got a lot of blowback for that. And I think Julie is going to receive the same kind of blowback. And finally, Tribal Council was one of my favorites ever. I mean, I think that's going to go down in Survivor history as a really one of the most memorable Tribal Councils. I'm very happy that Devon's had the hidden immunity idol to fall back on. And I'm very happy also that he tested the immunity menu. And boy, he is just leaving it all out there on the floor for everyone to see, calling out Ron and Julie, calling them villains. But I'm glad he did that, because I know what Ron did was strategy, but that is really, really kind of the lowest of the low strategy. Again, bigger downside than upside to humiliating somebody like that. Anyway, as always, looking forward to everybody's feedback. Can't wait till Saturday night to get this episode of Joanne and Stacy's podcast. Till next week. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jen.
I really like what everyone's saying about, yes, you should not win this challenge. Yes, it would be great to tell someone else you're going to try, but you take me and win it that way. But I think one thing that we don't think about is the minute Jeff says fried chicken and apple pie, that could all go out the window.
Yeah.
And especially for the people who haven't had any food in a long time, and just the thought of not only getting to be with your loved one, but the fried chicken and apple pie.
You could be at a point where you've decided, if I can't, the most important thing is to get some food so I'll have a shot in the next immunity challenge.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I don't think I even have a shot at it.
Or I can't think if I don't get some food.
Right. So
it's worth it.
You could, in the moment, head down that lane. Yeah.
And after all, this is reward. It's not immunity. And yes, it could hurt me, but I'll worry about that after I get some food in my belly. So that's always a possibility, too, I think, with those challenges.
Yeah. It could be. If you're not mentally prepared, if you don't have a plan, and I think Rick definitely had a plan, his wife Becca was in on it, then yeah, you could, in the moment, you could lose your way a little bit and make that choice. It doesn't mean you won't still pay for it like everybody's talking about, but yeah, you could get overwhelmed by the need for some calories for sure. Good deal. Thanks again, Jen. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, it's Paul back in Louisiana again, and I can't believe the season is almost ready to wrap up. I also can't believe how close Rick is to winning. If he gets back in the end, it's game over, man. I mean, did you see how happy the jury was to see him pull a rabbit out of his hat? And what about the way he worked the jury? That man has a skill set matched only by Liam Neeson in Taken. And you have to love how Rick's completely poisoned the jury against Ron and Julie. If you have either of them as your USB, well, especially Ron, well, I feel sorry for you. Oh, and Aurora too, I guess. But he was wrong on one count. Julie a villain? Well, how about a villain's coattail? Because she's nothing alone, and I really think she's about to self-destruct. So will Rick make it to the end? His edit is phenomenal, so yeah, maybe. I feel it's either Julie or him going next. The comment he made about being a phoenix just makes me wonder if he doesn't get voted out next and then wins his way back again. I mean, how does anyone top that? Still, there's something about him that doesn't quite sit right with me. But even so, I'd still be fine to see him win. And I just love the irony of Lauren and Victoria using the loved ones gathering, which Ron once used as a means of control, against him in the end. Bye-bye. You don't want to win that reward if you know what's best for you, because the biggest kiss it brings is the kiss of death. So did Rick throw that loved ones challenge, or was he actually trying? At first I thought he was honestly playing, but a second watch has me scratching my head. I mean, he's never been that bad at anything before, and it looked like he was having a blast each time he soaked his wife and fell further behind. And what about when Ron carried Julie away from the challenge? I immediately thought of the poem Footprints in the Sand. You know, when you only see one set of footprints in the sand, that was when I carried you. It could possibly have gotten him a Julie vote if he ever betrayed her, but I really don't think he'll be returning to the game. Julie, however, will fall apart. Of that I'm sure. This will be her first time out there alone, and this is the learning experience she set out on this adventure to find. Good luck. So yeah, I guess it's either Julie or Rick out next. Julie because she's going to be unbearable, and Rick because, well, I don't have to explain that. I really think Rick is poised to win it all, even if he does get voted out. He is the phoenix raised from the ashes. But does he really go next? And will Julie PO the tribe more so than Aurora and get voted off first? I'm thinking so, because I believe she's going to be unbearable. She's been called a villain to her face, and you know she's going to get that straightened out ASAP, even if it means crying on everyone's shoulder over and over and over again. And wasn't it nice to have no Extinction Island footage? Well, save for the end when Reem told Ron that it's a game, which is something that she wants everyone else to come to terms with, but not herself. So it's either Julie or Ricky for me, and I think I'm going to go with Julie, only because Ricky looked absolutely giddy in the previews. Something's up. So take care, everyone. Bye now.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Something's up. I think he's just having fun with it, even though he's super desperate. He's got a chance at the immunity and win. I don't know if he'll find that idol again. Yeah, concern there.
Talking about the reward challenge again, where Ron
the family
won.
Visit, yeah.
He was, in my opinion, the absolute worst person to win that, because he's got so many. He really probably has a final two with every single person knowing him.
So you're saying it's even more dangerous for the most socially connected person to win it.
Most dangerous for him over anybody else.
Because it's more guaranteed, more likely to cause pain.
Because he's cultivated.
Because he's got relationships.
A tight alliance with every single person. And you can't choose them all, so it shows your hand.
That's a good point. Yep.
If it had been me and I did end up winning like that, then I might have gone, oh, okay, this is a bad situation. I might have tried to bargain with Jeff like, okay, well, if I give up my visit, can the others visit with their family? You know, try that first. Or
like everyone talked about, like how Wendell did.
Yes. And, you know, something else. Or just give it away. And just go, I'm not going to do it. It doesn't feel right. I love all these people. I can't go. Let somebody else go and let them decide. Or some such nonsense. But
you almost sound a little like Angelina there. Yeah, you'd have to not oversell it.
I just really felt like it was worse for Ron than anybody else.
That's a good observation because of the social connection. His social networks seems larger than anyone else.
He's spent the whole game cultivating that.
Yep. So let's see. To recap what we have coming up. There will be a reward challenge because they've shown that in the preview, and you get to see Julie make a face plant in that one. That was going to be fun. And then you'll get the Edge of Extinction challenge where someone comes back so that we can have 7 in the final immunity challenge. And that final immunity challenge will end with what's described as a difficult puzzle.
Well, at least that's how we're reading it from the Press Express release.
It's going to be a packed episode, a lot to process. And our first guess was, oh, good, maybe it's 2 hours, because Probst was asking about that earlier in the season. Unfortunately, no, all this looks like it's slated to go down in a 1 hour window.
Yep.
Well, it's certainly a lot to look forward to. Some more excitement with Rick running around and hiding from people and jumping out and scaring them as they're trying to keep tabs on him as he's hunting for idols.
Well, the thing that scares me is I've just had that feeling of I just don't know how he can get himself to the end. And so I did have him as my vote off choice this week, even though I didn't want it to happen. But this week, he probably does go home because I'm feeling like I'm not going to put him because I think he's going to find an idol or he's going to save himself
reverse
somehow.
Psychology on yourself.
I don't know. I'm worried about it now because
the double reversal.
But I am leaning more toward Julie as well.
I want to go back to something, I believe it's what Sophie said about Aurora and how she had no contrition and when she was busted for looking in Rick's bag. And it made me think of, oh yeah, because I flashed back on watching that and was thinking, man, she looks like a criminal. So you know how you see some people and you're just like, that person's a criminal, and it's probably not fair, you don't know that person or not, but she had a criminal's face. I mean, like watching the people who get busted on cops kind of face. That's the impression that I flashed back to when I heard Sophie talking about that, and she really does look like that. It's like, good thing you're a lawyer, because if not, you'd be on the other side.
No, what I heard was, yes, I did it, but it's not against the law, Your Honor. So it's okay that I did it, even though it may be seen as morally wrong or whatever, but it's not against the law. Because she said something about it wasn't against the rules, right?
Yeah, she was doing a rules
well, there
lawyer
you go.
thing.
That was her case.
Yep.
It was not against the law, so she could do it.
We want to thank everyone who took time to send in your thoughts and predictions this week about this episode and about what we're looking forward to as we head into the home stretch. Thank you. Everybody did a great job again. Just having fantastic listener feedback shows this season. A lot of good participation. New folks. Welcome, Bethany. It's great to hear from you. Also, a big thanks to Christy for your subscription donation. We greatly appreciate your continued support. It goes towards our operational costs, and that's a big help. Thank you so much for doing that.
And if you play JSFL, don't forget, get those picks in before the deadline on Wednesdays, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. And Steve should be getting that the website updated anytime now, if it isn't already.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I'm just excited.
Yeah, looking forward to it, seeing who's going to come back from Edge of Extinction. You want to make a quick prediction?
Oh, Lordy.
We know what the first part of it is because we've seen Aubrey practice it.
Yeah, that doesn't mean much, though, I don't think. They might have a puzzle, too, but...
Almost guarantee they will.
Wow. You got to think Joe, but for some reason, I'm not sure it is Joe.
You got Chris and Eric. They've been looking forward to facing off against Joe, so it should be fun to watch.
Eric's been head-to-head with Joe in all the, team challenges the first part of the season. So I think he could be as good as Joey Amazing as well. But I also think David could do well. So
he certainly is like the yin to Rick's yang in terms of all the pairs that we've seen this season. So, yep.
Well, we do. Aubrey seems to be getting a favorable edit. So
people still trying to read things into the edit this season.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to win.
I don't have
by
a prediction.
Doing that. Yeah, no, I'm predicting Eric's coming back. Eric's my boy. He's going to make it back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's your USB.
Yours too.
And mine, yeah. I forgot about it.
All right. Have a good one.